What's up, Pirates? Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG, and today we're going to be giving you guys all of the new EB-01 cards, and we are going to be going a little faster because this is only half a set, so we don't want to separate every single video by color like we usually do on full sets. So we're going to go, break down every single color in this one video. So some of the common cards and uncommon cards that don't really do much or are not as good, we're going to just, skim through.
Yep, so first up here, we've got the second Kazuki Oden leader in the game. This one actually going to be good. We've actually covered it before on the channel, so we're going to go through it real quick. But basically, this is a red and green leader with 4 life, 5,000 power. And he states, according to the rules, all character cards that have the Wano country type and do not have counters now count as 1,000 counter in your hand. So turning all your Wano country bricks into non-bricks. Basically in this deck you'll have like no cards that don't have counter in hand, which is already good, but that's not all. It's going to be Dawn X1 when attacking. If you have a character with 5 cost or more and the Wano country type on your board, when you swing, this leader is going to get 1,000 power until the start of your next turn. So swinging on your turn with 1 Dawn attached, you'll be swinging for 7, and then on your opponent's turn, you will be a 6k leader, the third in the game after Whitebeard and Luffy. So, pretty disgusting effect.
Yeah, I'm super excited to try it out. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be finally I can play another good green leader.
This leader is going to be a problem. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Here is the fantastic alt art. Kind of going with the OP04 style if you guys haven't seen it yet for the leaders. Really cool. And next up here we have Izo. Izo is going to be a 5/7 red character with the Wano country type and the Whitebeard Pirates type as well, so you can run him in Whitebeard if you want. But in Oden, remember, this card is going to have 1,000 counter, so very, very strong. And it's going to read on play. Give up to 1 Rested Dawn card to one of your leaders or characters, so basically converting the cost of this card into 4, if you can kind of treat it like that. Also going to work perfectly with Oden, as you do want to attach the leader. And then on your opponent's attack, once per turn, you can discard 1 card from your hand, and then if your leader is Wano Country or Whitebeard Pirates, you can discard 1 card from your hand and give one of your opponent's leaders or characters a minus 2,000 power. So this basically converts any card from your hand into a 2k counter, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is going to be a really good combo card in Oden, and I'm so excited. Like, some of these cards that are being released with this leader feel like they're going to flow perfectly with the already existing green Wano country card, so I'm excited.
For sure. Going to be a fun mix of red and green with Wano. Next up here, we have Kid and Killer, both in their Shabondi outfits. I think that, yeah, this is from that arc. But anyway, this card is going to be a 4/5 with Rush. So already solid for red. Red loves Rush, and it's going to read when attacking. If the opponent has 2 or less life, this character gets 2,000 power during this turn. So this is not a once per turn effect when attacking. If you can make this card attack multiple times, you can stack it up 4,000 more, 6,000 more, The sky's the limit. Not to mention it has Rush. So this card is going to be really good in any sort of Rush deck.
Yeah, this card, like you said, it can technically infinitely stack that power. So it's scary because this is a card that does the 5-drop a restand law do supernova, right?
Yes, yep. This card is a supernova. We did not mention that in Kid Pirates. So yes, the 5-drop law will be able to restand this card, which is pretty nuts. So in red green law, look out.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like it's gonna bring that deck back.
For sure. Looking forward to it for sure. A lot of these cards are definitely breathing life into a lot of old archetypes. Speaking of breathing life into old archetypes, we have Koza. Koza is going to be a 2/3 with 1,000 counter and the Alabasta Kingdom type. And he will read, when attacking, you can give one of your active leaders a minus 5,000 power for the turn. And then up to one of your opponent's characters is going to get minus 3,000 power. So a 2/3 when attacking. Obviously this is meant for Vivi, since Vivi doesn't attack. You're basically giving, it's basically a 2/3 that minuses 3k on attack, which honestly isn't good. 2 costs are very easy to remove nowadays, and even if it does stay on the board, doing minus 3,000 power and swinging 3 is not even the strongest effect. So I don't really like this card.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, If it was one attacking, one of your leaders can have minus 5,000 power during this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'd be a bit better, but it has to be an active leader, making your leader swing that turn useless. So I agree. I
Yeah.
don't think this card's that good.
Do not like it at all. Next up, we've got Doma. He's going to be a 1/3 vanilla for Whitebeard Pirates. I don't really think they needed this. Maybe this would have been good in Zoro back in OPO2, but nowadays I don't ever see running this card.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a filler card.
Yeah, unfortunate because these are really supposed to be helping out these archetypes. And next up here we've got Tony Chopper is going to be a 3-cost 4,000 power with 1,000 counter character with the animals and Straw Hat Pirates type, and going to be a blocker as well. And his effect is going to be Dawn X2 when attacking. You can give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power for the turn. So honestly, I don't really understand this card. Like, why do you want a blocker that you need to attach 2 to and swing? Like, you don't really want to swing with the blocker in the first place. And minusing 3k power is good, but it's not the best. I guess it's like a flexible blocker, but there's so many stronger cards nowadays. I don't really know what archetype this is like breathing life into. Maybe the animal archetype. If I'd have to look more into it though.
Animal Zoro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but this is the manga card, so we got the Chopper manga.
Chopper manga, get hype.
I'm gonna have to get one.
And here it is. Honestly, this could, as the OPO8 leaks did leak a Chopper leader, this could maybe be insane in that deck. I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll have to see what that does later. And the manga card here, guys, fantastic. If you love Chopper, this is a awesome card. Definitely love it a lot. Next up here, we've got Yamato is going to be a 5-cost, 5,000 power with 2k counter character with the Wano country type. So perfect for Oden. Probably a 2k you're going to want to run that's going to be searchable. And if you need that 5-cost on board for your leader effect, you could also play it out. But it's going to read activate May once per turn. You can give one Arrested Dawn to one of your leader characters. So basically like a 4/5. It's not good. You're playing this for the 2k counter at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's not a bad card to have. Like, maybe you're bricked and you have to play this.
Just to get that leader effect off. Yeah.
Get your leader effect off.
And it does attach that Dawn to your leader, right? While also putting a 5k on the board. So it'll basically, even on curve, like on 5, you can play this card, attach the leader and swing with lead, and now you're a 6k leader. So probably a 2k leader just running an Oden only.
Yeah, honestly.
Next up here, we've got Little Oars Jr. Going to be a 6-cost, 7,000 power with 1,000 counter, and he's going to have the Giant and Whitebeard Pirate allies keywords, and it's going to read once per turn. If this character is KO'd by an effect, you can discard one event or stage from your hand instead. So kind of similar to Marco almost, but instead of being revived from the trash, it just kind of completely negates the effect. And this one can also do stage cards instead of just event cards. So interesting, but still, honestly, I'd probably rather run like Thatch than this. I don't know. I don't know if Whitebeard's good anymore.
Good against KOs, right? So like
it is.
Moria, Sakazuki, Lucci, right? So
it's true. So maybe
where, you run a couple of these.
Yeah, maybe Whitebeard needs it nowadays. Next up here, we've got Shut Up, Let's Go is going to be when Luffy is recruiting Chopper back in the Drum Island arc. But anyways, it's going to be a 1-cost counter event with the Drum Island and Straw Hat Pirate keywords. And it's going to be counter. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. And then you can actually play one animal card with a cost of 3 or less onto your board, and then put the rest at the bottom of the deck. So a counter searcher that plays a 3 or less. Obviously, we're talking cards like this Chopper that we just looked at. So maybe a reason to run it. I'd have to see how the animal archetype goes and what decks people build. I really don't know if I can say how good this card is just yet.
Yeah, I mean, the animal archetype is nothing crazy yet, but I mean, maybe soon, right?
We'll 100% see. I wish I could give a better opinion on that card, but next up here we've got You Beat Me, There's No Way You Can Win. Or it's probably a mistranslation, but anyways, it's going to be a 3-cost red event. Another counter event, actually, with the Water 7 and Straw Hat Pirate keywords, and it's going to read counter. You can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with an original power of 6,000 or less. So even if your opponent, say, has like a 6K on board, and let's just say we're playing against Sakazuki and he just used a Houndblaze and buffed his Rob Lucci up to 9. Rob Lucci swings 9. You can just use this card and KO that card and completely counter out the attack. So honestly, really good. But 3 Dawn is a heavy cost to leave up at the end of a turn, so we'll see if anyone runs this. Also capable of KOing cards that can't be KO'd on opponent's turn or on their own turn, like Borsellino and stuff. So
yeah,
gonna be super
and
interesting.
trigger, right? It's also a good trigger.
Yep, KO of 5,000. So I mean, I like it. We'll have to see where it goes though. Next up here, we've got a stage. We've got Mini Mary number 2 is going to be a 1-cost Straw Hat stage, and it's going to read Activate Main. You can rest this card and put 1 character with an original power of 1,000 on the bottom of your deck and draw 1 card. So, I mean, kind of interesting, turning every 1,000 power character after their own play effect into a draw card as well. But I'm really struggling to think of, like, even in Zoro, you mostly have, like, at the lowest 2k power stuff. 1k power stuff is really rare. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is the 1-drop Robin that pops a 1,000 power character on board. Even then, I don't know if you'd be running this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe eventually there's like a lot of those 1,000 original power cards that you want to run in a deck to be able to make this useful. But right now, yeah, I don't see a use for it currently.
No,
but they do like to set up for, you know, future cards.
I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah, as more cards come out and there's more interesting 1,000 power cards, I'm sure there can be some weird dual color leader that can like do a crazy 1,000 power only deck or something weird like that. But
yeah, I mean, I think in red right now the only cards is like the Kung Fu blocker.
Yeah.
And then obviously Chopper, blocker Chopper.
But obviously you don't want to send a blocker back.
Yeah.
There was really no reason to play it. Anyways, here let's get into our next SR of green. Is going to be Cavendish. Is going to be a 5-cost 6,000 power with 1,000 counter, and he's going to read when attacking and on play. If your leader has the Supernova characteristic and you do not have another Cavendish on your board, you can actually make 2 of your Dawn cards active. So this is on play and when attacking. This card is really strong, especially with restand effects.
Yeah, this card right here, being able to be played in Kid, the new Bonnie,
Law.
So there's so many like different uses for this card, because activating 2 Dawn just means you get a 3/6 on the board.
Yeah.
You play this, you know, obviously shambling into a card like this and then getting that 2 free Dawn back that you just shambles means you played this card for free.
Yeah, another card that's going to be insane in Law. Honestly, that deck might come back into the meta.
Yeah,
stuff like this.
It's looking like it's getting a lot of value where it needs from a set like this.
Yeah, this is actually insanely powerful. Next up here, though, we've got Kozuki Hiyori. It's going to be a 4-cost, 0 power, 1,000 counter, which means it should have a strong effect, but it's going to read Activate Main. You can put this character in the trash, and then play 1 character card from your hand other than Kozuki Hiyori with the Wano Country archetype with a cost of 5 or less. So basically making any of your 5-cost cards cost 4. Interesting for sure. Also works in Oden, as you do want to play those 5-cost cards, but I'm actually thinking this could be really cool in Kinemon. You can play this card on 3 Dawn actually, and then get out of 5. Like, say, even the 5-cost double attack Banish Yamato on 3 Dawn, which is going to be really insane. That could be fun, but we'll have to see if this actually gets played.
And you draw, right? So you're technically not even losing a card.
Oh, then draw a card. Yeah, I actually missed that part. This card's... Oof. This card is interesting, actually. Looking forward to this
good. It's a lot of good fucking value.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in a deck that's going to be running a ton of 5-costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next up here, we've got Sanji. Is going to be a 4/5 with 2k counter and the Film and Straw Hat Pirates. So probably just breathing life into the Film archetype that came out back in OPO2. But this card's actually going to read Dawn X1 on your turn. For every 3 rested Dawn cards you have on your field, this character is going to get 1,000 power. So, say you attach 1, and then all of your other 9 Dawn are already rested. This guy can get pumped up all the way to 8,000 power, plus the 1, bring him to 9. For a 2K counter, right? Pretty good. Like I'd probably play this over the 2K chopper that the film archetype was running.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
nothing crazy though.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Next up, we got another 2K counter. He's going to be Scratchman Apu. He's going to be a 1/1 2K counter with the Supernova, which is probably what we're playing for. He also has on-air pirates, but there is no synergy for that right now. It's going to be on play. You can make you can make one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less rested. So basically, rested 2 for 1. Okay, I mean definitely okay for a 1-cost 2K counter. In Supernovas, in decks that I think the only 2K they're running was the other Apu. That's a searchable Supernova 2K. Mm-hmm. And that card you're never playing. But I could see you playing this card, so you're probably playing this guy instead.
Yeah, definitely just swap out the Apus. This one feels like it can actually have some use. So, yeah, I think this is a great addition.
Yeah, rest a brand new or something, or a searcher, whatever. Not bad. Next up here, we've got Bingo is a 1-cost 0 power with 1,000 counter and Wano country type. It's going to be activate main. This, you can actually rest the character and KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less that is rested. So, in mono green, this card's terrible. But in a black-green deck, this card could be interesting. It really could. Mm-hmm. KOing, anything under the sun if you have cost reduction for 1 seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a decent card. Feels like it can have a place somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, we will see. People will have to test it out. Next up here, kind of a boring card. We have 2/2 blocker Bluno with the film and CP0. Not really much to say here. Next up, another one, not much to say, is going to be Mountain Sun. Is going to be a 5/7 vanilla with Wano country and animals. Maybe you run this in Odin, but honestly, probably not. You probably have enough 5 costs that are better.
Yeah.
Maybe in an animal archetype in the future, could be good. Next up here, we've got Shield White Thread. That is definitely not the right translation, but I'm not going to look it up. It's going to be a 2-cost counter event with 7 Warlords of the Sea and Don Quixote Pirates. So probably helping out Green Purple Dofi here. It's going to be give one of your leaders or characters 4,000 power for the battle. Then look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal 1 Don Quixote Pirates card, and add it to your hand. So, top 3 searcher that also gives you plus 4K like any other 2-cost event would do. Yeah, pretty insane.
Yeah,
really good. Yeah.
That's a 4 of easily every time.
Yeah, for sure. Searcher and counter that you have every turn is just too good, right?
Yeah, being able to basically block out any attack early game for free because you're gonna draw another card is pretty good. It's a cycle and you get to block an attack. So yeah, I think this card right here you might see me on Grapple Dofi depending on what other cards help it out.
Hey, don't make any promises. Next up here, we've got Shamburus. Is going to be a 1-cost Supernova and Heart Pirates event, and is going to read during the main. If your leader has the Supernova type, return 1 of your characters to your hand, and then put 1 2-cost or less character of a different color than the card you returned onto the board. So, turning a 1-cost into a 2-cost. This card's really good in Law. I mean, obviously, right? It's what the deck's already trying to do. You can say tap a Nami or tap a Bonnie that you search with this turn, use this, bring it back, play at the dawn for 2. Stuff like that. I could see this card being really good in that deck.
Mm-hmm. Gives you like a card to give you a little bit more like a little bit more sauce, if you will.
Yeah, I mean maybe like a 2 of people will run, but obviously a brick in hand. So it does activate the main on trigger, which is also good. And next up, we have our next second leader here is going to be Hannibal. Is a standard 4-life 5,000 power leader with 2 colors. This one going to be an Impel Down supporter with blue and purple, which is the perfect color for that. And it's going to be at the end of your turn. You can return 1 character that has the Impel Down type back to your hand with a cost of 2 or more. And then you can add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. So this is the only leader in the game that can actually ramp on 2 Dawn. There is no card currently or leader currently in the game that if you're going second on your 2 Dawn turn, that can ramp. There's no card that can do that. This is the only card that can go turbo and actually ramp on that turn. So I think this deck's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to what people do with it.
Yeah, it's going to be probably, not probably, it is going to be the fastest deck, and it has purple as one of its colors to help you ramp even more, because that is, one of purple's characteristics. So it's definitely going to be interesting how fast you can actually realistically get to 10 Dawn.
Unfortunately, I don't think any big boss monsters got released for Impel Down, which is unfortunate that you can ramp to. So we're stuck with the same old, probably running like the 9-cost Sanji, 9-cost Kaido, stuff like that. And here is the alt art that people will be running. This is probably the weakest out of the 3 in my opinion. Next up here, we've got Inazuma from the Impel Down archetype. This one going to really help out decks like Ivankov, but honestly, the card's really good. Let's see what it does. It's going to be a 6-cost, 7,000 power with 1,000 counter. And it's going to read, at the end of your turn, if you have 2 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. Pretty nuts, right? And Ivankov, right, back in OPO2, if you're at 0, your leader's going to draw you 2, and then this is going to draw you 2 more. So if you keep ending your turns at 0, you're going to 4, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, nice little 1-2 punch combo right there. But, you know, again, going to 0 cards is not recommended, because you don't know what you're going to draw, right?
You're top decking, right?
Yeah, you're top decking. That's how you want to play out the rest of your game, not knowing how your turns are going to play out. So it is sketchy, but this definitely helps. It helps.
Yeah, always going to be Ivankov's main problem. Like, even with great cards like this, that deck's probably still not good. Even though you can play this off the 7-drop SR Ivankov, which is really strong. Gives you another target besides Luffy. Next up here, we've got Edward Weevil, Whitebeard's supposed son, breathing life back into Blue Doflamingo from OPO1. This card is going to be insane in that deck. A 4-cost 6k with the vanilla stat line and 7 Warlords of the Sea. And also, very simple effect, on play, draw a card. I don't know if you're not playing this in any other blue deck, but in Blue Dofi, wow, this card is so strong. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, setting this up with your leader ability gives you not only you know the free resource from putting this onto your board from the top of your deck, you also draw one. So you're getting a net gain of +2 for one of your leader abilities, which is pretty crazy.
Definitely 4 of in that deck if it ever sees the light of day. Next up here, we've got Hamlet, a 3-cost, 4,000 power with 1,000 counter, and the Beast Pirates and Smile type. So this card's going to read, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, all characters with Smile get plus 1,000 power. Yeah, this card's pretty ass, not going to lie.
Smile archetype making a comeback?
And I really don't think so. Most Smile cards are in purple, so this is basically forcing you to play a blue and purple leader. Probably something like Kaido, which is already a bad leader, and you're not running the Smile archetype. This is definitely a joke of a card. No doubt there. Next up, just kind of another boring card, Beast Pirates, Smile Vanilla, 3/5. Nothing much to say there. Next up here, we've got Prince Bedet, is a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 2k counter with the Impel Down archetype. And it's going to read Dawn X1 when attacking. If you have 1 or less cards in your hand, return up to 1 character with a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. So a 2/2, right? You're really never playing this. This is only for the 2k. Also searchable Impo Down. So you're probably playing this in Hannibal just so if you're going second, this is a card you can just play on the board and get that ramp for free, right? So pretty decent card in that deck.
Yeah, for sure.
And next up here, we've got Mr. 1 Das Bones, is a 5-cost, 6,000 power with 1,000 counter, and the Baroque Works type. And he will read, if your leader has the Baroque Works type, this character gets 1,000 power for every 2 event cards in your trash. And then on play, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. So just a 5/6 with Queen effect on play is already good. And then if you are playing like Mono Blue Croc, even a Blue Purple Croc, obviously you're running a ton of events in both of those decks. If you have like say 6 cards in trash, this card is just literally a 5 for 9. Really, I mean, I don't know if it's going to make the archetype good, but obviously a good card if we're playing those decks.
Yeah, I mean, it's support, right? It's going to help it out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Will it change the meta? Probably not, but it's nice to have other cards you could use.
Yeah, I could even see just blue cards just playing this guy just because he's a 5/6 that draws 2 and discards 1 on play, right? That's already decent.
Mm-hmm.
Next up here, we've got Gomu no Champion Riflew. It's going to be a 1-cost Impel Down and Straw Hat Pirates card, and it's going to read counter. If your leader has the Impel Down type, give up to 2,000 power to one of your characters or leaders during this battle, and then after that, your opponent returns one of their active characters to their hand. So, say you're playing against Katakuri and all they have on board is an active Big Mom, and say Arrested Pero. Your opponent has to return that back to hand for 1 while you're countering out there's some board states where this card is going to be absolutely insane. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, when you're just trying to go for lethal and then you just have 2 of these, yeah,
Yeah, you can do them right off the bat and just completely screw their turn, right? They could have even like a 5-cost and a 7-cost, and they have to send them back to hand.
Yeah, this honestly seems really, really good. Really good.
Think about it more, this might be broken.
Yeah.
We will definitely see.
It might be broken.
Not to mention, you can run what Nami runs, the 1-cost Mr. 1, and you can grab this out of trash and cycle it. Yeah, oh, true, God. True. Oh, God, I'm not looking forward to that. Next up here, we've got Sorry I'm Dead. Is a 1-cost East Blue and Straw Hat Pirate event, and it's going to read on counter, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a 4-cost or more card, you can return one of your characters to your hand, and then place the revealed card at the bottom of the deck. And on trigger, you can return one character with a cost of 8 or less to its owner's hand. So that is probably the most insane trigger in the game we've ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the main effect probably only good in Nami, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and then obviously the trigger is amazing in Nami as well. It slows down your opponent's attack, and a lot of the times that will make or break a matchup.
Oh yeah, for sure. An 8 back to hand on trigger is completely gross. Next up here, we've got Logtown as a 2-cost stage. I'm going to have the East Blue type, and it's going to be Activate Main. You can put this card and 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, and then draw 2 cards. So, bad if you play it, honestly. But trigger, you get to play the card for free. So, basically, a free trash 1, draw 2. Even in Nami, I don't know if you play this. Maybe I'm not a Nami main, but I don't get it. But I wouldn't play this if I played Nami.
Yeah, I mean, I tend not to really like stages that only have... So is this, you can activate it whenever on your main phase?
Yeah, you just put 1 card from your hand and this stage to the bottom, and then you would draw 2 cards.
So it's like you use it once and then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a lot of resources. Not only do you have to pay 2... then you have to trash a card to draw 2.
Yeah, I don't like it. Trash card would be better, but you have to put it to the bottom, which is bad for Nami, right? Because you are not decreasing your deck size. Next up here, we've got Kadifa. Is a 5/5 with a 1,000 power, or 1,000 counter, sorry, and with the Water 7 and Galileo Company archetype. And it's going to be on play, Dom -1. If your leader has the Water 7 archetype, you can actually add 2 4 or less cost characters from your hand, from your trash into your hand. Sorry, that was a lot. But basically, yeah. On play, get 2 4 or less characters from your trash into your hand. 5/5, draw 2. Not bad. In Iceberg, you're running a bunch of 5 drops, so I'm not sure why this was locked to 4 and less only. I don't really like that, but... it could still be good, right? You get 2Ks back and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good.
Yeah, not terrible at all. Next up, we have Army Wolf, 5/7, 1,000 counter vanilla with Animal and Impel Down. Probably not running that. Yeah. Next up here, we got Bluno. This card's actually really good. It's going to be a 4-cost, 5,000 power with 1,000 counter, and on play, Dom -1. If your leader has the Water 7 type, you can grab 1 card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand.
Yeah, from hand or trash. So you make a 5 cost appear from hand or trash.
Right. So basically a 4/5 that can play a 5 cost. Usually you're going to want to play it from trash, so you don't have to get a card out of hand. That can bring out stuff like an iceberg that's going to be like a 5/6, right? So for 4, you can bring out a 5k and a 6k. So very similar to like ulti 2k. But in iceberg, this is really good, right? So say you're going second, you're on 4 Dawn. You can literally play this guy, bring a 5 from your trash, and then use iceberg effect and bring a 5 from your hand, and now you have a 5k and 2 6ks on board, right? Which is pretty ridiculous. So definitely running that in this deck. Also grabbable off that Califo we just looked at. Next up here, we've got the Miss Wednesday. Is a 3 cost, 4,000 power with the 1,000 counter Baroque Works character with blocker, and it's going to read on your opponent's attack, Dawn -1. If your leader has the Baroque Works type, you can add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So this obviously meant for purple, yellow crocodile. Basically what this is saying is if you play this card and use its effect, it's going to ramp you 1, right? Because that the leader negates the Dawn -1 this card does for its effect, and then this card adds 1 active for itself as well. So and pretty good, honestly. Like, you can just use its effect and then block with it because you're probably not going to get it again. Or you can try to keep it on board as long as you can and kind of go turbo with that deck to get to your 8-drop crocodile and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess it really just depends on matchup, right? If you know you're versing matchup where they can just blow it up easily, probably just block. But like you said, if not, if you're versing yellow and you're gonna force them to use a Thunderbolt or I guess they can get out to, but like you get what I'm saying. It's like you keep it on the board and your opponent can't do anything about it, and it's just free ramp every turn.
Yeah, really strong for sure. Next up here, we've got Miss Monday. Is a 3 cost, 5,000 power with Baroque Works type, and it's gonna be on play. If your leader has the Baroque Works type, your leader of one of your characters gets 1,000 power for the turn. Pretty weak in itself, but it does have a trigger. Dawn X1, you can play the card. So this is for the turn. So if you hit this off trigger, your leader is going to turn into a 6k, which is interesting. But truly, especially with no counter, I don't know if I'd ever play this card.
Yeah, I mean, you do got to play it out of a life on trigger, which is probably the best thing. And like you said, it's basically gets negated because of the leader effect, the Dawn -1. But yeah, I mean, it's just a 3/5 no counter.
Yeah, don't think this is
going to make it really easily.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you're playing it for the trigger effect, right? Next up here, we've got Mino Chihuahua. Is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, Impel Down. No, actually not blocker. This one actually has a rush, so a 4/5 rush for purple, which is already good. And then on KO, if your leader has Impel Down, you can add 1 Dawn for your Dawn deck rested. So just another Jailer Beast that you can play off Sadie for 3. This card is insane and will probably be a 4 of in Hannibal.
Yeah, 100%. Just being able to Sadie, play this, swing, bring the Sadie back, ramp. Now you got your 2k back. And if your opponent wants to swing at this, you're just ramping even more. Disgusting.
Disgusting. Really looking forward to that deck. Next up here, we've got Mr. 9. Is a 3 cost, 4,000 power with 1,000 counter and the Baroque Works type. And it's going to be on your opponent's attack. Once per turn, you can do Dawn -1. Up to 1 character from you can KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. So yeah, this card sucks. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Pretty shitty.
Yeah, this card's pretty bad. Not much to say. Next up here, we've got Okamawe. Is a 1 cost purple Baroque Works event with counter Dawn -1. If your leader has the Baroque Works type, choose one of your characters, and it is going to change the target of your opponent's attack to that. So say you have like a big, if we're playing this in Crocodile, you have your 9k Crocodile, your opponent swings 7 or 8. You can just use this card for free, right? Because this is Crocodile. Gonna put that Dawn -1 back as active. And just gonna completely negate an attack for 1 Dawn. So pretty strong, honestly. But you do need to have a big character on the board for this to be decent. Or you can just turn any of your little characters into blockers, pretty much.
Yeah, free block.
Yep. So
And then,
pretty
not to
good.
mention, the trigger is insane.
True. Dawn -1, draw 2 cards, right? Which is never bad, especially in Croc.
Yeah, Don -0 essentially. You're just drawing for 2 free cards.
Yep.
You know, to Sanji's peel off.
Yeah, now I think about it, I could see this card being a 4 of in that deck from now on.
Oh yeah, this is insane.
Very strong card. Next up here, we've got Kosanze Raku Naraku. I think this is like something Ragnarok. It is a 5-cost purple event, and it's going to be main, Dawn -1, KO one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 8 or less. Probably a much needed card in purple. Purple does not have a lot of reach as far as removal goes. I think to this day, the highest cost it had was only 6 with 9-cost Kaido. So this card finally allowing purple to KO bigger things, right? Much needed card.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is definitely warranted in a deck like purple, especially with yellow starting to get releases. There's been leaks of yellow getting some really, really good removal. It's like, okay, some of these decks still need removal. It's, black's had everything for forever now, and so some of these other decks definitely need some better removal.
Yeah, 100% a card you're playing in mono purple. I don't know if you play this in black, right? Because you can just cost reduce.
Yeah.
Next, and our last leader here, we have Kyros. Kyros is a black and a yellow leader. It's going to be activate main once per turn. You can put the top card of your life face up if it is not face up already, and then KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. So the effect is basically free. All you're giving up is information, and then your KOing is 0. So obviously you need cost reduction for this to make any sense, which you'll have because you're in black. Honestly, could be strong because you also have cards that are going to take face up cards and put them back face down. So honestly, could be good. Probably the leader I'm seeing the least hype for at the moment, though.
Yeah, and especially with black and yellow color combo, doesn't feel like the best. Like, we've tried we've tried Big Mom, the black yellow mom, and that archetype, it feels okay, but to be able to efficiently use this leader's effect, you would have to run a mainly black deck, and at that point you can run a lot of better leaders. But we'll see. Well, you never know, right?
Also a Dressrosa leader, so you can run Dressrosa lock stuff that was meant for Rebecca, so that stuff could be good in this deck. We'll see. And here's the fantastic alt art with his daughter and wife. Definitely, I would say the coolest one in my opinion. Next up here, we've got Crocus. Is just going to be a 6/8 vanilla with the former Roger Pirates keyword. So I think that's the first card we've gotten with former Roger Pirates, like any mention of Roger Pirates. So really cool to finally see one of them. Next up here, we've got Scarlet. Is a 2-cost 0 power with a 1000 counter, Dressrosa character. She's going to read activate main. You can put this character in the trash. And then play one character card other than Scarlet that has the Dressrosa type from your trash that costs 3 or less, and you have to play it rested. And then after that, one of your opponent's characters gets a -2 cost for the turn. So 2-cost character that gives -2 and also plays a 3 or less, probably playing something like the 3-cost Kyros, right? Or any of your other good 3-cost Dressrosa stuff that we've gotten since then. So probably good. In Rebecca, I mean, you're definitely playing this in Rebecca. I don't know about other black decks, probably not, to be honest.
Definitely run this in Rebecca.
Yeah. And possibly in the new Kyros. We'll have to see about that.
Yeah.
Next up here, we've got Sopandine. Is a 3-cost, 2000 power with 1000 counter, and the CP9 keyword. It's going to be on play. You can place 3 cards with CP from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. And then you can play 1 card with CP in its type with a cost of 4 or less, other than this card, from your trash onto the board rested. So this card, like, just looking at it straight up, like, you're like, okay, I can play a 4 cost for 3, which isn't that amazing. But then you look at the combos this card can do, right? Like, if we're playing Rebecca, you can literally take this off of Rebecca and then play a Lucci off of this card in Sakazuki. Oh god, the combos this card is going to enable are going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, this card. I don't know if we needed this card. I'm gonna be honest.
No, this card might be a problem.
It's gonna be disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, not looking forward to what this guy means for the future. Very, very scary card. Next up here, we've got Funk Freed. Is a 1 cost of 1,000 power with a 1,000 counter character, which is going to read, activate main, you can rest the character, and up to one of your Spandam gets 3,000 power for this turn. Pretty terrible, considering the only Spandam card we have is the 1 cost Searcher for CP, so you can make him a 5k for the turn. Like...
Yeah, that doesn't really do anything. Like, you're not rushing with this archetype.
This card does not do anything. This is like the worst card ever. Next up here, yeah, no, for real. We've got Brook. Brook is a 3 cost, 4,000 power with 1,000 counter, and it's going to be on play. If your opponent has a cost 0 character on their board, this character is going to get rush. 3/4 rush in black, conditional.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you know, it could be like a weird tech card if people aren't expecting you to have a rush character to end the game. I don't know. Maybe run it like a 1-of. I don't think I'm a believer in this card.
Yeah, I mean, just off what it does, and it's a common at the end of the day, so it's probably not the strongest card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Definitely do not love it. But we have another Brook with the same stat line, going to be our SR. This one actually going to be good. So 3/4 1,000 counter with the Straw Hat Pirates archetype. And it's going to be on play and when attacking. You can give a cost, -1 cost to one of your opponent's characters for the turn. And then KO up to one of your opponent's cost 0 characters. So this is a repeatable effect for when attacking. Also an effect that can just be done on play. Really strong card, honestly. This card, I mean, you can play it off Rebecca, right? And KO something and -1 on play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this card's going to be really good. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to get it on the board. If your opponent gets rid of it, oh, you just have another Rebecca. Let me play it right back. It's going to be pretty useful. Like, you can, not only does it get -1, you KO a 0, so combo this with like Ice Age, you get a free 6 cost KO. You know, just has the combo potential, and just being able to play it off Rebecca to KO something is a first. Like, before there was no card that Rebecca could play to get you a KO if you already had the cost reduction. So this card is definitely gonna be a menace for sure.
I think there was Kobe for also a 3/4, but obviously
you're right. Kobe, but yeah. Kobe does have to trash a card, so that's why you tend to not see any Kobe's being ran.
Which Sakazuki never likes. So
yeah, but next you're right.
We've got Laboon here is going to be a 2/4 no counter animal card with the effect once per turn. When a character is KO'd, you can draw 1 card and discard 1 card from your hand. So 2 cost character that is cycling you if you're KOing stuff every turn, once per turn. Yeah, this card's pretty bad. I don't think anybody's playing this card.
Nah, people are hyped with the other one, the other Laboon card.
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely get to that. Oh man, look at that! There it is. It's going to be a 4 cost, 5,000 power with 1,000 counter Laboon, with also the animal archetype, and it's going to be activate main. You can put this character into rest, and up to one of your opponent's characters gets -4 to their cost. So a 4/5 that can repeatedly do -4 if they do not remove it. Also, you can do this on the turn you play it. So, not terrible, really not terrible, but also not amazing. I really don't know who is running this card yet. I don't love it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It exists, right? So it's like playable, searchable, playable for Rebecca, it's searchable, and obviously it doesn't have a 1k counter. But for the most part, once you already kill something, you know, it's not on the board anymore. You don't really need a cost reduction again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they don't deal with this, it's kind of like if you leave a Kuzan on board, it could become a problem. But this one's going to be tapping itself every turn, so that's not even as good as attacking, right? So
yeah, and Kuzan draws you a card, so it's just
not
as good. But people are hyped for this card. That people want the alt art.
No, like, I mean, love the card, right?
To just stock up on those.
Next up here, I mean, come on, you got to watch the show and you'll know. Laboon's the go.
Okay.
Next up here, we've got T-Bone. Is a 5 cost, 5,000 power with 2,000 counter, Water 7 and Navy type card, and it's going to be on play. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, right? Which doesn't seem amazing, but then you realize this is a searchable Navy card with 2k that has like a decent KO effect. This is probably replacing... I could see it's replacing Suru, maybe. Suru's already really good, but like if you need like your Tashigi Suru's already a lock-in for like every black deck pretty much. If you're going more than 8 counters, I could see this being like your 9 and 10 or something like that.
10, yeah, 100%. I think that's correct.
Definitely a good card. Next up here, we've got I Want to Live. Is going to be Robin's fantastic moment back in NES Lobby. As a counter event in black, going to be a Straw Hat Pirate searchable card, and it's going to be a 3-cost counter event. If you have 30 or more cards in the trash, you can add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life. So, God, I think there's so many things wrong with this card. Like, why is it counter? I wish this was main.
Mm-hmm.
This card's so whack. I don't really like it. 30 or more in trash is like the biggest ask of all time.
Yeah.
You could have made this 2-cost main and it would have been fair. Because getting a 30 in trash is like really difficult. So, yeah, I don't like the card, guys. It's way too expensive.
Yeah, the only deck that can really like rush 30 in trash is probably Rebecca.
Yeah, no, 100% just
And
Rebecca.
maybe like the Moria archetype cards where they trash a lot of cards, but besides that, you're right. Like on counter, they have to swing at you for 1. You have to leave 3 down open for 2, just to get 1 life back. It feels awful, and it's not searchable by anything other than Straw Hat, right?
Yeah, definitely unfortunate that probably my favorite moment in the entirety of One Piece got reduced to a pretty trash card. Next up here, we've got Shigun. Is going to be a 4-cost black event with the main effect. You can put 2 cards from your deck into the trash, so building trash right out the bat, and then KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So decent KO effect for black. Like you can see 4-cost KO of 5 in like basically every other color, or like bottom deck of 5 in blue, stuff like that. But this one's in black, which already has cost reduction, so in mono black decks, this is going to be like a crazy card.
Yeah. Even that, wasn't there a new Lucci Leader league?
Yes, you may be running this in that. Is it CP searchable? Also, I didn't even mention the trigger activates the main, which is really gross.
Yeah, 100%. This card is definitely one to look out for in the future.
Very good card in black for sure. Next up here, we've got Viola. Our first yellow card that we are looking at is a 2-cost, 0 power with 1,000 counter, Dressrosa type card. This one going to have blocker, and then on play, you can choose from one of these 2 effects. Our first effect is going to be look at all of your opponent's lives and place them back in any order you want. That effect is crazy. You're just going to see what your opponent's going to get from life that game while establishing a 2-cost blocker. That's already great. And then the next effect is turn all of your face-up lives face down. So good in Kyros, right? If you want to repeat the KO effect.
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even the on-play is pretty busted.
No, I mean, the look at your opponent's life is just ridiculous.
But yeah, 100%. I think this card... just getting use off, being able to place their life in any order is already good enough for you to warrant to run this card.
Yeah, like you can see their combo pieces that they're going to be looking for. You can be like, okay, let me place that at the bottom so you don't see it till the end of the game. Just so good. This card's insane. Yeah. Next up here, we've got Gastino. Is a 3-cost, 5,000 power with the Scientist type. This one going to be on play. Place one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less face up at the top or bottom of your opponent's life. So that's already pretty decent, but then the trigger is going to be up to 2 of your opposing leader and characters get minus 3,000 power. So having the purple event, can't think of the name right now, but having that effect on trigger is insane. This is probably one of the best triggers in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like this is getting to a point where like you have so many triggers in yellow that just help you on your turn that it's pretty insane, right? Beige, all the blockers, this, you're just gonna live forever.
Yeah, this card is a crime. In any deck that's like trying to stall, you're already trying to put cards in their life, like in Queen or even in like Black Yellow Big Mom in the deck that we have making a future video. Not gonna talk about that now, but I would definitely play this card. This card's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Next up here, we've got Gone Fall, a 3/4 1000 counter Sky Island blocker that is going to be on play if your opponent has 1 or less life. You can KO up to one of your opponent's cost 3 or lower characters. This card's kind of mid. I don't love it. Obviously an NL. Maybe this is good. It's searchable blocker that gets the KO like one of their small blockers or something like that. Yeah. It could be okay.
Yeah.
But if your opponent's at 1 life, you usually would rather go for game, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Maybe this card's not that great. Next up here, we've got Charlotte Compote. Is going to be a 7-cost 9,000 vanilla. Interesting. I think this is like the rarest vanilla in the game. I don't think there's a ton of 7/9 vanillas.
Yeah, 100%.
So interesting for that, but obviously it's just a vanilla with the Big Mom Pirates archetype. So
yeah.
Next up here we've got Charlotte Frampe is a 1-cost 1,000 power with 2,000 counter. So another Big Mom 2K in the big pile that they already have. This one's going to be on play. You can add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand and draw 1 card. Pretty nuts. If you're in a matchup that doesn't like to hit you, or if you just don't really care about your life, say like an NL, you can kind of just 1-cost draw 2, which is really strong, really.
Yeah, and it's very good in situations too where it's like, okay, well, you're at 10 Dawn and you're stuck with all 2K counters and you're bricked. Well, now you have an option to play this, and not only cycle it, but you also get to draw a life to maybe have a play.
Yeah. Definitely in any archetype that runs the the Big Mom stuff. Maybe you're switching this out for Amande or any of those other 2Ks that we're currently running. Next up here we've got Shirahoshi is a 2-cost 1,000 power blocker with the Mermaid archetype. This one going to be when this character is KO'd by one of your opponent's effects, you can add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life. So this is effects, right? This does not count as attacks. You can't just block with this card and heal. This is like if they KO'd it with the Lucci, it would heal you 1, right? So a blocker that basically says, you either give me my block or you get rid of me, but I heal anyway. Definitely interesting, but I don't think it's amazing.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's always situations where, let's say it's endgame and your opponent's going to go for game. You play a blocker, well, they have, a Lucci that's going to KO whatever you just played. So, I mean, there is some use, but obviously Houndblaze just gets rid of this.
Yeah.
It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I wish it was like removed by one of your opponent's effects. This card would be really good if it was like that.
I think they're scared to do that. There hasn't been a card yet.
It's only NO, 7-cost NO.
Correct, but that is like a specific. Oh, you have to trash a life in order to not be removed.
They're very scared of that effect.
Like Rosinante blockers, it's only KO. I know there's new cards that only protect from KO. They have yet to actually have like a real spell shield where it's everything, like the Enel effect, like maybe on a blocker or a spell card or something.
Yeah.
Or an event, but we'll see if they ever go that route.
They'll definitely add that in the future. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Next up here, we got Mont Blanc Cricket is going to be a 2-cost 3,000 power with 1,000 counter. This one to be with the Saruyama Allied Forces. Going to be a Dawn X1 on your turn. If you have 2 or less life, this character gets 2,000 power. This card is trash. Not searchable. A weak little 2-cost 3K that only gets plus 2K if you attach 1 conditionally. On your turn only. Yeah, this card, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just getting popped by Lucci. It's getting, destroyed.
I mean, even then, it's only a 3K. They just attack it.
No trigger, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Next up here, we've got Raiko is going to be a 6-cost yellow event with the effect in main, KO up to one of your opponent's characters. Then put a card from your life into the trash so that you have 1 life. So basically KO anything and then trash your life until you're down to 1 life. So if you're already at 1 life, this is just 6 cost KO anything. And then on trigger, KO one of your opponent's characters whose cost is less than or equal to the total number of lives of both players. So interesting. That's actually a really good trigger.
Yeah, it's the Yamato effect on the trigger. But yeah, I mean, this in an L is going to be insane, right?
Yeah. You're always
Finally,
at 1.
finally, we have something to negate all the 10 costs that get played on an L on our, on our runs and just destroy us. We can just boom, we're at 1 life already. That's cool. You wasted your whole turn on 1 unit. Let me play this card for 6 Dawn and goodbye.
Yeah, yellow definitely having trouble removing 10 costs. This one finally giving them that ability. Next up here we've got Orega Kaminari. Is going to be a 4-cost yellow event with the Sky Island archetype, and it's going to be main. You can make up to one of your NL with a cost of 7 or less played onto the board from your hand or your trash, and then trash your life until you're at 1. So another insanely strong effect that is trashing your life to 1, but in NL you're always sitting at 1. This is a 4-cost that can replay 7-cost NLs from trash. That is ridiculous. That is insane.
Yeah, let's say earlier on you play Shirahoshi, you're cycling cards out and you end up with 2 NLs in trash, and it's late game and you're at 1 life and you got 2 of these, you can double an L and still have 2 Dawn open.
Now this card's gross. Not to mention, for some reason it also has a trigger: draw 2, trash 1. Yeah, this card's a problem. We'll see how. Maybe it says main broken.
You can have no board and swing 7 with leader. Go play one of these, swing 7 with an L, play another one, swing 7 with an L. You get triple 7K swing off 1 turn. Like, that's already a lethal type turn, and it's gonna be nasty.
No, and also just developing 2 NLs on board, right? If they can't kill you next turn, that is just so insane.
Yeah.
Wow, this card's just nuts. And last but definitely not least here, we've got Mr. 2 Bong Clay is going to be our secret rare for the set. Also fantastic art, if I do say so myself. Going to be a 4-cost, 1,000 power with a 1,000 counter character with the former Baroque Works type. This one I'm going to read: on play, you can add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck is active, so just a 4/1 that ramps you on play. Really good. And then also, when attacking, you can choose up to one of your opponent's characters. This character is going to have the same base power as the chosen character for this turn. That's an insane effect for a 1K character. You can swing into like a 12K Big Mom and just become a 12K for the turn, which is hilarious. Also, it's not like what you swing at. You can just choose anything while you swing at something else. So if they have a 12K Big Mom, you can swing at leader and then just say, okay, I choose your Big Mom and swing 12K at leader with a 4-cost card. That's like laughably strong. Also, just ramping you on play is going to be already really good. This card is like insane, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they just played a big body and then they swung with their other weenie units. It's like, oh, I'm an 8,000 Katakuri. I'm going to swing at your Perospero. Not only that, you ramp.
Yeah, and even in like maybe Hannibal, maybe you can go turbo, play this character on 4, ramp to 5, use leader effect, bring it back, ramp to 6. Next turn you're on 8. Like, this card's gonna be really good. Even in like purple yellow croc, I really don't know what deck they're pushing this for. But I don't think there's any question that this is just like a generally strong purple card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it can stick for a turn and get an attack off, it's insane. All right, Pirates, that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for sticking until the end with us. We hope you enjoyed all the commentary on all these amazing new cards. It is only half a set, so, I mean, not too much to go over, but hopefully you enjoyed it. With that being said, thank you guys for all the support. We're almost at 4,000 subs, so if you can and you keep enjoying our videos and watching us, subscribe to our channel right now. Make sure to like this video, comment down below what your favorite card was that we reviewed, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.